Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 5th meeting, Village Board meeting. First on the agenda is the minutes of October 15th. Have all the board members read the minutes?
Yes.
Any changes?
No.
No,
I have a motion to accept the minutes of October 15th.
so moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Chamber of Commerce report. I know Carol wasn't feeling well, and I wasn't sure if she was going to be here. But she did ask me to remind everyone that the Chamber is having Santa arrive on November 24th at 8:30. And it'll be at Parking Field 8. And the movie to follow will be at 10 o'clock at the new movie theater. So that, once again, November 24th at 8:30, Santa will arrive, and the movie will follow at 10 o'clock. Patrick, do you know what movie it is? Next on the agenda is to ratify the filing of the 2018 FEMA grant for the FD. John, can you help me with this, or the chief?
Yes, Mayor. We look each year to FEMA to help finance some of the costs for safety equipment for the fire department. The fire chief has been working with our grant consultant this year. The Scott Air Packs are an eligible item, and we recommend that the application go in for 40 air packs in the amount of $272,000.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next, the road race for the Vineyard Church on November 10th. I know they changed the date and they wanted to give it this weekend. It's a 5K, the event to benefit Island Harvest and educate our community about people with food on Long Island. The 5K event had been scheduled for the 27th, and I guess that's when the storm came in, right? So they're asking for November 10th. I know they don't have the time frame down, but for the acceptance of it, but I don't think that's a problem for us, correct? And Chief, do we have any problem with this, the roads for the race? Because I know they're shutting down the street here, aren't they? No, into the park? I thought I saw somewhere in the right, okay. All right, you know what, it's, yeah, it's fine. I need a second, I need a motion and then a second. To
So
accept
moved.
it. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then the Little League banner we did in the, light schedule. Little League banner was taken care of in work session. And next we have, actually the bills.
Yeah.
Wow.
I move that the bills listed on the abstract of audited vouchers be paid as soon as they have been duly audited by the majority.
Very light. I need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Wow. We're into good and welfare. I'll start with Trustee Reardon.
All right. Well, as you know, I'm going to continue with my series, Did You Know About Limbrook? All these really amazing fun facts that I am actually every week find more and more interesting. Hold on. I flipped ahead. Okay. Texas Guinan, originally nationally recognized during Prohibition as the queen of nightclubs. She presided over a tipsy festivities at Limbrook's Blossom Heath Inn on Merrick Road in 1927, where she greeted her arriving patrons with her trademark, "Hello, suckers." Very interesting. She performed in dozens of films, stage productions, and was later portrayed by actresses in films. 1927 was Broadway Nights. 1945 was The Incendiary Blonde. 1961 was George Rafferty's Story, and The Splendor in the Grass. in 1961 also. So her self was played. The next one is Ronan and Martin's Laugh-In. Lynbrook resident Jack Douglas was the comedy writer for the successful 1968 and 1973 comedy TV series. Mr. Douglas also wrote for Bob Hope, Woody Allen, Red Skelton, Ozzie and Harriet Nelson, Bing Crosby, and won an Emmy in 1954 for Best Written Comedy Material, and worked on the George Gobel show? Coble? All right. The print's a little tiny. I can't, as you can see. And the Colgate Comedy Hour. He also created Subs, a 2007 TV movie about substitute teachers at the Lynbrook Academy that likely was inspired by the Academy of Lynbrook that once stood at 215 Atlantic Avenue from the 50s to the 80s. The next one is horror. Oof. Frank Henelatter, director of the 80s through 90s horror exploitation cult classics such as Basket Case, Brain Damage, Frankenhooker, resided on Oak Avenue in Lynbrook in the 60s and 70s. All right, next one is at the bottom. Puss in Boots, 1969, starred Lynbrook resident Gilbert Mack. He also starred in Gigantator in 1964, Superbook in 1981. He was also portrayed Impety the Midget in the NBC radio Cloak and Dagger in 1950. He was also, during his 12 years, playing the German butcher in Hansel and Gretel deli meats commercials. And the last one for this evening is Taking Woodstock. This 2009 movie starred Lynbrook resident Betty Henritz, an actress also known from Far From Heaven, 2002, and The Hospital, 1971. And as you know, these are some great facts. We still have quite a bit to go, and it's amazing to know how much history and how many people have either come to Lynbrook, resided in Lynbrook, or taken a part in this wonderful, fantastic village. But moving on from my fun facts, I do want to say that myself and the mayor and some of the board members had the honor this weekend to attend Assemblyman Brian Curran's Veterans Hall of Honor. Every year, the Assemblyman has hosted this event where he honors and highlights veterans throughout his Assembly district. And we were very fortunate this year to have 3 honorees come to us from Lynbrook. Kevin Canty, Miriam
Carpio
Yo.
Hospitalis.
How do you say her last name?
Miriam Carpio Hospitalis.
Hospitalis, and Bill Marinaccio. You know, they are such wonderful, residents, of course, but it's always nice to see the amazing things they have done, and, we're very proud that they live here in Lynbrook and they have served our country.
That's it?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Trustee Hawkhurst.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. With different holidays coming up, with the kids being off for Veterans Day and other and eventually Thanksgiving coming up, please check the library website. They have different movies and different items to keep your kids busy and entertained. Or even if you want, they have the museum passes for different museums. Things like the Intrepid around town is, kind of an interesting thing, fun thing to do. But the passes are free. Come down to the library or check their website to see all their different events, because there's a lot going on there. They do have one of the nicest things they have is the Wonders of the Night Sky presentation. So a local resident, Tom Lynch, has donated a telescope to the library that can be taken out for use, or you can come down to the library for different days, and I'm not sure, but check their website. The next one is coming up. He takes people out, shows them how to use a telescope, shows them different things in the sky, different planets you could see, different items. It's a great event. It's a great thing to have. But again, if you want to, if you know how to use a telescope, you can rent it out from the library, take it out from the library for the couple of days. Building on some of the things that have occurred over the past couple of weeks. We had Halloween about a week and a half ago now, and in this village we had 3 amazing events for Halloween. The first one we had was the Everything Special Needs Halloween event where, children with special needs came together, had a great day in Grice Park. It's a group that, is focused on providing services and providing opportunities for children to meet, create play dates with each other, but, just to give these kids a fun day together. We had the Halloween Havoc down on Atlantic Avenue, a huge, terrific crowd down there, tremendous parade. We had Mr. Met here again, as
nice
he
job,
wasn't, he
Mr.
wasn't
Met.
busy at the end of October, beginning of November, so he was able to come to Lynbrook. And, but a great,
It's a little mean.
Well,
Is there
Listen
any Met fans out
Yeah, I was
there?
gonna say.
I'm a Yankee
Mike's a
fan, they weren't
Yankee fan,
much
that's
busier. But, it's such a great day to see the kids in their costumes and the families come down and a great time on Atlantic Avenue. And then the other terrific event we had was a trunk or treat event down by the hockey rink at Grice Park. Here's another event for, children with food allergies. People come down there, decorate the trunks of their car. Some of the decorations are just tremendous, you saw from these people. And they give out non-food gifts to the kids who come around and trick or treat to them. And, such a great day for, kids who have allergies, and they don't have to worry about, can I eat this piece of candy? Can I have this? Everything they got was non-food related. It was a great day. Going down there, I met this couple who were from North Jersey. And, they had met up with, Sue Kelly and Georgiana Cipriano, who run the event, and had gotten involved in this, and came all the way up from North Jersey to come here for our trunk or treat event. They had their car decorated, giving out to the kids. They were having a wonderful time. They loved it. But it's such a great event, such great Halloween events to have.
And it's getting
just
bigger.
tremendous.
It's getting bigger. There are a lot more people there
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, it really is. And, just lastly, tomorrow's Election Day, so please go out and vote. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Becker.
Thank you, Mayor. Just very quickly, the, Election Day's tomorrow. It's probably the most important day in the history of our country. Secondly would be, of course, Memorial Day, and thirdly would be Veterans Day. So Veterans Day is following right this weekend, so invite all of our residents down to the Veterans Day weekend at the VFW and at the Doughboy, and by all means, please exercise your right to vote. It's really the most important thing that we as a democracy have, and it's just a very precious gift that we've been given, and we should continue to vote often and as much as possible. And Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to thank all
Only
of...
once, right?
I'm
Vote
sorry?
only once.
Yeah, only once. Right. But every election day, or any election day, I should say. And I would just like to thank all of the residents. So many people have come out and shared their condolences with me. It's a very difficult time for my family. My sister Christine, at 67, passed away way too early.
If you don't mind, I'd like to offer a moment of silence for your sister.
Thank you.
May we have a moment of silence, please, for Christina? Thank you.
At 67, it was obviously way too early for her to leave us, and she did die tragically. And so, but what gives us strength and comfort is all of you here tonight and all of the folks out there on TV watching. This is a really tremendous community, Lynbrook. The close-knit that, family that we have here, really gives me, myself, my brothers and sisters a lot of strength, knowing that, we're going to get through this, and she's going to be in a much better place. Certainly, she's in heaven right now with my parents. And certainly, a big thank you to the first responders. I don't know if it was a Facebook message or an email I received from somebody that said that, when my sister passed, she was being assisted by some of Nassau County's finest police officers. I'm sure she was. And so thank you to the first responders, and certainly thank you to all of the doctors and nurses and staff and security, all of the good people at South Nassau. It was a very, very difficult time for us, a very difficult night. And all of those folks really did a great job, at least in comforting us, and helped us get through that very difficult time. So just again, thank you to all of the residents in this great village. it really makes Lynbrook what it is. So thank you all very much, and God bless.
Trustee Baccio.
Yes, Mayor, there's quite a number of things going on from the recreation point of view, as we always have at the end of the year with all the holidays coming up. So some of the things that you should have gotten already, most of the people in the village have gotten the flyer, which kind of outlines a lot of the upcoming events. Some of the things you can also talk about is the adult pizza and paint night. That's going to be Fridays, November 30th from 7:30 to 9:30. It's $25 and includes all materials. Zumba Kids Junior, there are a few spaces left on this, and that meets Thursdays from 3:45 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. until December 13th, and that's a prorated cost of $25 per session. Free Skate Fridays, every Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., and that's at the roller hockey rink, weather permitting, of course, and all ages are welcome, but they must wear a helmet. There's Lynbrook Senior Citizen Club, which of course meets every Wednesday from 12 to 2:30 p.m. The Sunshine Club, which meets Friday from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. You contact Kathy Ski for more information about these clubs, and that's at the 516-561-5509. Gentle Flow Yoga, that's a class that's great for beginners, anybody wanting to restore their internal balance, from what I understand here. Classes on Sundays, and that's 10 a.m. to 11:15, and that's $6 a class. Zumba Gold, pay-as-you-go, $5 per class. Wednesdays, 4:50 to 5:50, and Fridays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Just Zumba, that's classes are Mondays, 7:15 to 8:15, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pay-as-you-go, $5 per class. Zumba Centao, Andrew, is that how you say that? Centao? Okay. Class is Thursday from 7:30 to 8:30, pay-as-you-go $5. And just a reminder, big event we always have, always has been, is Breakfast with Santa. Tickets sale at the Village Hall. They are on Saturday, November 17th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and that's $12 per person. And as I mentioned earlier, too, all residents should have received the mailing with all the list of things that are going on for the holiday season. It's always a good time, so I encourage everybody to get out and enjoy what the village has to offer this holiday weekend.
Thank you. I have a couple things. First of all, I forgot something through the agenda, an add-on I had. The add-on would be, I would like to close the street closure surrounding the Doughboy on November 11th, between 10:30 to 11:45 for the Veterans Day services. So I would need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Joe, you'll take care of that? Thank you. And there'll be also post services at the VFW at 9:15. So if, I know Sunday's a good day, actually, to come down there and show your respects to the vets and show your appreciation that we have, that they've given us to be able to vote tomorrow. It's because of their blood we're able to enjoy this life in America. Let's see, what else did I have? The chief is taking care of that. Oh, yeah, Chief, I wanted to ask you if you had a report for Earl Avenue. Some time ago, we had some residents concerning about speeding cars on Earl Avenue.
Yes,
So,
we
do you
had
have
an
the
unmarked car there doing radar.
Could you a
from
little bit
October.
closer to the mic, please?
We had an unmarked car doing radar during the rush hours, morning and the afternoon, from October 3rd for 7 days. The speeds we recorded were 12 miles an hour to 34. So we did not see any speeders. I'm not saying occasionally somebody's not flying down the street to beat the light, but when we were there, that didn't happen.
Do you happen to know how many total hours our police cars were there?
It was about 2 hours a day.
Okay. And it was, well, what, an hour in the morning and an hour at night?
2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night,
2 hours, so,
right? 4 to 6, 5 to 6, 6:40 to 8:15 in the morning. So,
and no speeding tickets were issued?
no.
Wow. I mean, I have to say, I witnessed people.
Well, like I
One
say,
person I witnessed.
I say occasionally that person's there, but when we,
Okay, all right. Can we sporadically put a car there and just
of course,
check it out? And what's next? Denton is after Earl? Is it Earl, Denton, or Vincent?
I think it's
Vincent?
Vincent.
Okay. Maybe we can just pop around the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Just a reminder, once again, I'll say about the Chamber having Santa on the 24th. And also, you know, with the Cornerstone project, I've been trying to get all the information out to the residents, and it's on the internet, and I hope that everyone's been able to bring up anything they wanted. And I added another thing last week, I believe it was, and in keeping with my promise to the residents, to our village, that the Cornerstone project proposal will be fully transparent, with the maximum amount of information be available. I respectfully requested each of our board members to have a written response to questionnaires as it reflects the Cornerstone proposal. And at this time, I've received an answer from Trustee Reardon, Hawkhurst, Baccio, and we're going to just, anything we get, we're waiting for the traffic study to come, that's going to go out there, and I think there's, what else is it, Brian Stanton? Is there something else besides the double traffic study that the village is paying for to oversee? The second traffic study we received just today, and that will be put on?
At the end of the day on Friday, so I just logged it in.
Okay. Can you use the mic, please? So that'll be put on the internet tomorrow?
Yes, it should
Thank you
be.
very much.
Okay.
And is there anything else we're expected to receive?
No, that should complete, you know, they just added another piece to the application.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it. I'll open good and welfare to the floor now, or is there something else? Oh, go ahead, Mike, go ahead. Oh, we have a new fire department member, Kevin Derenthal. He's a rescue hook. Kevin Derenthal. I had a kid play hockey for me. I wonder if it's the same kid. He's a member of Ladder Bucket Company Number 1. I think that's the only thing we missed, right? Right? Okay, I'll open to the floor for good and welfare. Nobody? Well, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You got to come up to the mic, please.
Is it possible that I could have a mic instead of...
Sure, sure. Why not?
Thank you. Regarding the Cornerstone project, I've come late to getting information about it, and I'm wondering, will there be an open meeting, say here, instead of just the internet, where people can come and interact with you folks, because it says for legal reasons that you can't discuss it
Correct.
now.
The hearing is going to be on the 19th.
That, it says it's for the applicant's presentation.
Correct, and you'll be able to have comment.
But what about our interaction with, say, for example, the Board of Trustees?
You could ask at that meeting.
Will the Board of Trustees be there?
Of course. It's an out-of-board meeting, ma'am. We'll have it at a meeting like this, that's when they're going to make their presentation.
And is there a given time that it will be decided upon one way or the other? Is there a deadline or a schedule for that?
It's impossible.
It's impossible,
You don't know.
as
They
co-
could extend the hearing over 3 different evenings or 2 evenings.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite...
John, could you,
It's
saying-
Yeah, John, right.
yeah, counsel.
My name's Ken Gray. To answer your question, is it
He
public
needs a mic.
hearing?
He needs a mic.
To answer your question, my name's Kenneth Gray. There's going to be a duly noticed public hearing on November 19th for this application. It's open to the public. We really can't anticipate exactly how long the applicant's presentation is going to be, but this board wants to hear comments from everybody from the public. So if it cannot be completed in one night, the hearing will certainly be continued so that everybody from the public has an opportunity to be heard, so that the board can hear their comments and take them into deliberations. The reason they can't comment on them tonight and are not taking comments about it tonight is that we want everybody's input to be on the record. If you spoke tonight about the application or asked questions about the application, it would not be part of the record for the public hearing. So that's why we're asking everybody to reserve their comments and their input to the board, so that when you do make your comments during the public hearing, the board will be able to take those into consideration in their deliberations. So November 19th will be the first day of the public hearing. It may be continued to an additional date so that everybody has an opportunity to be heard. Okay?
Thank you.
May I ask, who will be the final deciding person or group? Is it the Board of Trustees? that
It will be
makes
the
that
Board of
decision?
Trustees,
The
correct?
Board of Trustees, yes, ma'am.
And will that be announced at that meeting? Or, in other words, what would the time frame be after the application by these folks on the 19th? And when...
We just said it might not be completed on the 19th, ma'am. It
But
might take
what
a
I'm
couple of
saying
meetings.
is, just hypothetically, or...
Yes, ma'am.
Or potentially, when would the decision be made? How soon?
There's no set time frame in which the board has to make its determination. They may require additional information, so it's, that hypothetical question really cannot be answered.
Right. So will we be hearing your reasoning, pro or con, in a public meeting as opposed to just the decision being rendered?
At this point, I'm not going to comment any further on the Cornerstone application.
See, I would
All right? I think you're going to have to wait until November 19th.
Well, in the interest of transparency, as you say, in other words, what can we expect in terms of a time frame, roughly? Just some sort of...
I'm unable to comment on that because I don't know what the presentation is going to include. I don't know if the board is going to ask the applicant for some additional information. It's just an unknown. It's something that I can't foresee, you know.
Okay,
Okay, I apologize.
thank you.
Thanks, Albert. Is there anyone else? Stephen?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Martinez. I'd like to start by extending my sincerest sympathies to Trustee Becker on his loss.
Thank you very much.
Stephen, give your address, please.
My address is in
Okay,
Lynbrook.
just if we want to contact you or send you something. You know, if you
Okay,
have a
yes.
question. We do that with everyone, Stephen.
Okay, sorry. From what I understand, you want to make the Cornerstone application a very transparent process. In the interest of the welfare of Lynbrook Village, I would like to make a specific request for what shall be part of the application. You had said you were waiting for environmental impact studies, but you have not talked about the specific financials of the program and whether that will be included in the application. What I'm referencing in particular is the possibility of a pilot program financing this development. My concern with pilot programs is that they have had disastrous effects on neighboring villages and townships. In my experience, they have potential to be very short-term gains for long-term expense. And I'm here to say that I don't think any hearing on this development can be considered complete until the details of the pilot program are made publicly available, and I believe they should be publicly negotiated as well. So until the pilot program is introduced with clarity, the hearing is unacceptable. If the developer is not able to furnish that information, what their intentions are. Let me give you an example. So on the developer's website, they have a frequently asked question. I'm on a roll right now. I'm on a frequently asked question.
Excuse me.
I'm
He has the
speaking.
podium. Can't
The
speak from the...
frequently.
Sir, they're not going to answer any questions about Cornerstone.
Okay, then I'm going to ask them anyway. The question is, on the Cornerstone FAQ, they ask, is the developer planning to apply for...
This is not the appropriate forum to have this conversation. The public hearing is scheduled for November 19th. I'm going to ask you, if you're going to continue to talk about a different topic, but you're not going to be talking about Cornerstone.
Is he permitted to, is that
He's representing the board.
board's behest.
You could really ask these, on the 19th, you're more than welcome to come back and ask these meetings.
Okay.
Ask these questions.
I'm not asking for specifics of it right now. I'm asking for this information to be included in the application hearing, because without it, the hearing will be a joke.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you move on to another topic then?
Yes, I can.
Please do.
I just want to make one last addendum. As everyone noticed, and Trustee Becker also made a fine point that tomorrow is Election Day. It's a very important day. I just wanted to clarify a bit of misinformation that I've seen circulating regarding teachers' unions. That endorsement has gone to Miss Judy Griffin, so all clarity on that front. And the New York State Teachers Union, I mean. Aside from that, I look forward to seeing you on the 19th, hopefully with a respectable presentation that includes legitimate finance.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else with good and welfare? Mike, please.
Good evening. My name is Larry Zini. I live on. I just had a question, and I'm not looking for answers right away. Is it possible for the village to send out some type of a referendum for the residents to decide whether they would be in favor of this Cornerstone project or not? I can recall many years back, Mayor Scarpato decided that he would like, and many of the residents wanted, to have a swimming pool. Before he went ahead and proceeded with that, there was information sent out to every resident, and they voiced their opinions as to whether they wanted it or not.
Sir, not to interrupt you, but there are certain things that the villages are allowed to put out for permissive referendum and certain things that they're not allowed to put out permissive referendum. I don't go back as far as Mayor Scarpata. That may have been a bond resolution that they had to put out for a mandatory referendum. I don't know, so I don't want to misspeak. But again, this board is not going to be answering any questions about Cornerstone.
Okay, I'm not asking a question about Cornerstone. I just want to know, is it possible for the village to do that?
I don't believe so.
Is it legal for the village to do that? I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
Again, there are certain topics that are subject to permissive referendum, some are subject to mandatory referendum, and there are some things that are impermissible matters for referendums.
Well, is this impermissible?
Yes, it is, in my opinion.
I didn't ask your opinion. I want to know if it's, I think that you should do the research, the codes of the village, whatever it might be, to determine if it is or not. That's all.
Very good, thank you.
Alan Pawelski. Excuse me, you're the lawyer stepping in because someone had to be recused?
No,
Didn't you give me your card the last meeting? Or
No.
do I have a different person?
wasn't me.
Well, what is your position in here?
He's representing the board.
Okay, so you're representing the board because, someone else is retiring or stepping down or recuse themselves. Listen, I think your conduct is horrible, the way you're speaking to anyone in here, okay? We're taxpayers. No one's asking them questions to be answered about any project in here. They're making statements. And I wholeheartedly believe they should be allowed to make their statement without you bullying from over there and
No one is
shutting them
bullying.
down.
Excuse
Okay?
me,
That's all I
excuse me.
have to say, Mr.
No one is
Mayor.
bullying anybody here. He's explaining the law.
I think
Okay.
we all heard different in here
Okay.
tonight. He's contorting his face the way he talks. He's got a smirk. Come on. It's ridiculous.
Yes, ma'am. If you're going to speak and you have trouble getting up, we'll bring the mic to you. And I don't know if you did your address and your name the first time?
Dorothy Biener.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that maybe we could have a sort of mediation between what the gentleman was just saying and what this man is saying. I think it's important to consider, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, I think it's important for there to be amount of civility, and sir, your tone, I understand the impression that we're getting, and I hadn't even thought about that. If you are representing the board, why is he able to represent the board if we have the board of directors, trustees here? Why can't the five of you speak for Lynbrook, since you were basically elected and this gentleman was not? And I realize that your tone is, I don't know what the definition of bullying is, but there's an element of intimidation. And when you said you don't think it's permissible, it would be good for the element of transparency for you to explain why you think it's not permissible. Because I think some of us feel rather intimidated just by watching the way you were conducting your comments, that would preclude some people from wanting to stand up. I feel very anxious myself.
Well, no one should feel uncomfortable to stand up. Anyone is welcome to stand.
But do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
That on a human level, most of us are not used to debating people who are elected officials, or even facing them and saying something that might not be welcome, a comment. And I feel that too much of our interactions, maybe on the local level and on the national level, we're all in this together. And some of us don't realize that. And I think it would be helpful if we could get that kind of feeling that there's nobody here who's against Lynbrook. I don't think that, well, maybe I'm speaking beyond, but...
No one thinks that, ma'am.
No, in fact, you have this nice welcoming effect, but that's not an effective welcome. Maybe that's, I don't know if that helps. Thank you. You should give this gentleman a gold star for his Olympic marathon.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other comments? Okay. With that, well, I forgot one more thing. I'm sorry if to hold everybody up, but being Veterans Day, the village is working on, I don't know if some of you residents have noticed that there's banners on Merrick Road representing our military, and the village is offering the opportunity to have one of your loved ones, one of your family members, have their banner put on our streets. There is an application that you can get through the board, through the village. You can call the secretary, or the mayor's secretary, and she will help you get this banner. There is a $175 fee to the banner. It's estimated to last 3 years. I think it's very impressive to have a family member up on a pole as respect to the hard work and the freedoms that they've given us. I have a picture of one here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's very nice to have your family up there and realize what they've done for our freedoms and our freedom of speech as we are utilizing here. All right, so if you have the opportunity, please consider it. It'd be beautiful to have our streets lined with our veterans. With that, I'll ask if there's any more comments, and then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Given what we've all seen here tonight, I think it would be an appropriate request for the board to search for new counsel on this matter. Thank you.
As I said, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I have that aye a little bit stronger, please?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.